Hello YouTube and welcome back. We are in Warhammer 40K. We're at the end, I believe, or we're very close to it if anything else. Where we last left off, we had come to the planet to fight the Necrons. We had gone back and got in Wolfgar. And now we are about to see the Inquisitor and see what's going on in the whole situation. So we're just going to dive in and get to it.
Let the faith guide my path to glory.
Surviving soldiers bear grave wounds afflicted by Gauss weapons. Yeah, they're not going to make it. The Epita. What's up, Darth? Of course, for those tuning in on YouTube, or for those who are watching on YouTube, this is done live on Twitch, where we do all our streaming. But as I promised on YouTube a while back that I would finish this whole series. So here we are. Oh. Oh. Well, that looks nasty, whatever that is. So I think we got kind of an idea that Kalkazar is trying to make himself immortal. Oh, okay. What the? There's multiples of me. I've been cloned! Reality bubbles before you and bursts with an agonizing shriek. A few silhouettes now stand in your way. 3 of them seem to have your face, and yet the differences are striking. Each has been marked by other accomplishments and different experiences, making you feel like the protagonist of a tale about a pair of twins separated at birth. You're fighting a boss in Shadow Labyrinth. Ah, nice. Kick its butt. If you are sentient creatures and not mere eidolons, I suggest you back down without a fight. I did not come here to claim your lives. Curse reflection. My master changer of ways, is this of your making? No, I can feel it is not. You are not playing tricks on me. You are sending me prey for a great sacrifice. Glorious. Is there some ironic lesson in what is going on? Should I be looking in the mirror or a little less? Or perhaps try to look at myself from the outside? Or is this a hint that I am my own worst enemy? I shall ponder this in my memoir. Look at where your doppelgangers came from. Yeah. The blatant abuse of the fabric of existence is causing the motes of reality to flare up. You see the mirages of the Chronos expanse in their glow. All through past recognition of the decisions you have made, or could have made in some other world. Oh.
Fear on the dog! Fear on the dog!
Ow!
I have a constant feeling that something's always near.
Ah, the 2 are going off again at the same time. I gotta turn one of these off. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Oh my god, how you been, man? It's been ages. Where are my events? I need to turn these off. Thank you, buddy. I think we'll disable one of these for now. There we go. We'll disable this one for now. So at least one of them's going off. I know, it has been a long time. How you been? It was funny, I was just thinking of Neverwinter today. For some reason, it was in my brain. Coming an interesting time. We're maybe going to be wrapping this up finally, which is the 40K Rogue Trader game, which is an amazing RPG. But I've been good. I've been very good, actually. Over the past few months, things have been very, very good. Better than I could ask for. So there's 3 copies of me, and it looks like one of them's probably the Dogmatic copy, one of them's probably the Heretic copy, and I'm betting one of them is the Iconoclast copy. How about yourself? How you been? Oh boy. All right, let's see here. Doing good? Excellent, excellent. You still delving into the world of streaming or content creating or anything like that? Or have you just taken like a long, long break? Or just done in general? I was gonna say, it's been a long time since I've seen any of your streams. I'm trying to think which one I want to talk to. So the arrogant one must be the Dogmatic one. No, you stopped streaming way back. Oh, okay. I might talk to the curse one, actually. So one of my versions chose to serve the archenemy. I do not serve, I reign. You grovel, but I dominate and rise ever higher. Idra opens her mouth and you see the blackness between her teeth and the place of her tongue, 100 otherworldly. The master requests a sacrifice, a living sacrifice. Toss them into the warp, their paths will be unraveled and will... Whoa, what is she doing here? Wait a minute. I thought we killed her. I wonder at what point your soul was tainted by heresy. It happened on the day Kunrad Vodiger wounded me with the cursed blade. From then on I started hearing voices. Fortunately my companion Idra taught me how to avoid going insane. I began to listen and heed their wisdom. They revealed secrets to me and whispered the dark rituals. I raided the Von Valencia's crypt, made a dark offering of Theodora's skull and enslaved her spirit. I learned all of her dirty secrets, all of her lies. Oh! I saw the full picture and realized that only the strongest survive in the expanse, and any strength is good enough to survive. Oh! In short, you've gone from being a rogue trader to being a piece of Kraken shit. This is very interesting, but shut up! Ofar shifts his gaze to you. I've just realized I have not given your spiritual fortitude the credit it deserves, Eidveta. A blood-spun web would never have let you defile the remains of the Domini. Did you? Me? Please, it was all your doing. My loyal assassin who has acquired a taste for blood. You tracked down and eviscerated every last spinner on my ship and became known as the Spider Queen, who spends her days relishing slaughter and pleasure. Join me while you still can. I have much to offer you. Damn! Okay, I feel like I should have talked to the other one. Although this is the one we want to kill, so I mean, there's that. Why'd you come to Epita? My master, the changer of ways, directed me here and revealed my destiny. This is where I will cut short the life of the Corpse Emperor's champion and claim the great trophy. This is where I am fated to become one with the warp. Words are no longer necessary. Heresy! Indeed, I see a future without words or you. Oh, okay, I can talk to the other ones now. Nice. You seem to think you are better than the rest of us, don't you? And yet I was the only one clever enough to become the master of my own fate and not be reduced to someone else's plaything or a slave to dogma. I wonder how you acquired such an ego. The lack of pointless advice, I presume. On the day Kunthred killed Theodora, all of her officers died with her, including Mort, Albarat, Idra, Raver, Vigdis. When I came into my inheritance, there was no one to teach me how to be a rogue trader. I handled everything myself and found out who Theodora von Valancius really was. A narcissistic, unscrupulous, self-serving bitch who lied to everyone. I admit I regretted not getting the chance to know her better. I embraced the principles and realized that literally everyone in the Kronos Expanse was out to take advantage of me. The Drusians and the Pirates, the Adeptus Mechanicus, and the Casbalica, Calcazar, and Urlon. And so the puppet pulled all at the strings and made its masters dance. I dare say things turned out well for me. You took the lawman into your retinue. I disdained his company. It became clear to me pretty quickly that Voltaire had Strauch's eating out of her hand, and so I brought those pathetic conspirators to heel. Now the arbiters are my lapdogs, obedient but too dull for me to bring any of them into my circle. Having heard this, Solomon calmly goes, "To the demons, arrogant scum!" Woohoo! What do you seek to enter the crypt? I came to claim the treasure, whatever it is. Theodora found it, which makes it mine. Xavier will regret trying to steal from my dynasty. The doppelganger's slightly accelerated speech, jerky movements, and the sweet twinkle in his eyes suggest that his blood is teeming with eutheric stimulants. Oh, he's a drug addict, too. Lovely. And I become very principled and vengeful where my treasure hoard is concerned. You are a parody of what the rogue trader is supposed to be, quite the epitome of hubris, greed, and brazenness. This is what being a rogue trader is all about. You simply lack the imagination to grasp it. Alright, well, now we got the peaceful one to talk to. You seem the only one who isn't trying to pick a fight. I do not enjoy pointless violence. Power and authority can always be used for more worthy purpose. Well, almost always. Unfortunately, sometimes violence does have a point, but it gives me little pleasure even then. Mercy is the gateway for heresy. This much is true, but a gate admits many guests, and not all of them mean you harm. Who are you? Your replica smiles understanding. I am Stormgar von Valancius, the Magnificent, and if I know myself, which I most certainly do, you are now pondering what makes you. That makes you. Answer simple, you are my reflection from a less glorious reality, a product of malign influence of a treasure that I seek. Some refer to me as the Warden of the Expanse, but I prefer being addressed simply as Stormgar. Nice to meet you. Me, from a different version of existence. Alas, doppelganger smiled coyly. Speaking of me, I am the only version of ourselves who chose the path to true power. I serve the Master, the Changer of Ways, and I already chanced upon my reflections in his dreams, which is why I am the only one without a dumbstruck expression on my face. Let's see. So you are me? I see now. You are von Valancius from a reality of unpenetrable dullards. No, it is you who are me. The situation has become complicated. How are we going to resolve it? I'm afraid we have no choice but to fight. What is hidden on this world imperils the millions of lives for which I am responsible. For their sake, I will crush any opponent unless you all retreat without a fight. But I see we are outnumbered compared to you, doppelganger. I think it would be wise to join forces, topple you first, and then resolve the conflict between those who have survived. I concur. We will finish off the one with the biggest retinue first, and then decide who is worthy of the prize. However, I didn't know who it's going to be. Oh boy. Well, I mean, there's a lot of heresy going on in front of us. The Emperor is with me, and that means you are all going to fall. Indeed, rogue traders are doomed to forever feud with one another. Such is the power of the poison called ambition that seeps from our warrants. Here we go. Okay, so I have 3 reflections. We have Idris on the board, and we have Ablard's on the board. The Virtuous. Interesting. I'm gonna put Stormgar here. Let's put Yeah, there. We'll put you there because you've got the most movement. I'm going to have you back here probably firing and then having Glado, hopefully if Glado will move. You right in the middle as a sniper. Oh, am I still bugged out? Can I not move Ulfar? I don't know why. Oh, there we go. I can just click on him and move him myself. Let's put Ulfar right in the mix. He's just going to get right into it. Alrighty then. Can I move Glado around by any chance? Oh, I can move Glado. I didn't know that. Cool. Alright, let's get to it.
What is this foreboding?
Idra immediately running over there. Oh boy. She's really jumping into the warp on this one. Okay, Argenta. This isn't a bad spot. Hi, Milo. Alright, let's sing the hymns. Let's make these three. Oh boy. Okay. Oh, alright. I have the void is on top of me. What? You are very clingy today. Oh boy, you are clingy. And you're huggable. Oh, okay, you're hugging today. I see. Milo, what are you doing? Don't be eyeing my bagel. Thank you very much. Alright, let's put that on him. That one's on him. Put the cursed one on him. Thank you, Milo. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do concentrated fire. We're going to up our amount of damage. And we're going to make hot on the trail on this one, or not on this one. We'll put it on this one. Why did we jump to fire? Alright, let's go with the confident approach to start.
Cops play.
We're going to up the amount of bullets.
Just a minor setback. I've suffered worse.
Okay.
Brace yourself, Abelard.
Well, that kind of works in terms if she goes next, because...
With purpose. That won't stop me.
Demonology.
Poised for action.
My other side of me is a thing. Oh, this one's a rage, isn't he? Oh, this one's... The Merciful is using warp? It's debuffing everybody. There's so much going on in that situation. Alright, let's do that. Let's do that. We're gonna immediately dash over to here. What the? What happened? Scoozy? Oh, and I used the wrong thing. God dang it. Why did that happen? Ah! Alright, well, hold on. Maybe we might still be able to... Okay, good. Good. It's not over yet.
Let not the righteous fear. May their blades be sharp.
There we go. There we go.
Bloodied, but still standing.
And of course, Kabbalah comes up top on that one. Very nice, very nice. Alright, don't go into that big circle over there. That's death incarnate. I doubt I'm getting over there. Then again, I do have... Ooh. How close? How close? Close enough.
I'll endure this.
My blade whispers your name.
That won't stop me.
Oh, it's gonna get pretty close to stopping you.
I could use some help.
One more should do it. Nice. Okay, that takes care of those two. Well, let's just get right up in front and just slam them with a freaking shotgun. And maybe I can get Glado to move in on him. See, is Glado still bugged? Glado is still bugged. God dang it.
Pain and duty go hand in hand.
Well,
That's nothing worse.
if that's the case, at least we'll do that.
It won't take long.
Alright, we'll run a gun so we can come over here. You know what? Let's do 2 slugs. Oh,
Just a minor setback.
I need to get a shot off on her. I got no shot there. I got no shot there. I got a shot there. Okay, let's start by throwing some exploits on her. Let's give everyone here a buff. We're gonna go ahead and take our first shot.
fucking me.
Then we're gonna go ahead and take our second shot. Oh, wait a minute. I think I have... Yeah. I can up the damage on this.
Why did I not foresee this?
Very nice, very nice. I got nothing else really there. There we go, we'll at least reduce his damage. Alright, good old Stormgar in here. Let's go ahead and sing the Warheim. Give extra damage here. We're gonna go ahead and give an extra. There we go. Pascal should be able to take a couple of shots here. What do we got here? Oof.
Time to prove my mettle.
Oh, with a 95% miss. Oh my god. 45% chance. Well, we'll take it.
Not my worst day.
Alright, well. We got something in there. Go burn the heretic, Argenta. Yep, let's run and gun. Burn the heretic! We can get a little closer. We could dash up.
I defy you.
Ooh. There we go. Almost burnt our enemy there to a crisp. Oh, far so close, but I should be able to get some shots in off from over here. Actually, if I do this, let's see. We use that, and that doesn't count for anything, which is good.
Is that my blood?
Nice. I could try. Well, we do have run and gun. Oh, I can get over there. Very nice. And everyone leveled up. Perfect timing.
Report. My faith is my shield.
Well, let's get everybody leveled up first. Sure. More lore in the Imperium, why not? Vanguard forces an enemy in the melee range to immediately attack the Vanguard. All the Vanguard's allies who are wielding melee weapons and adjacent the enemy makes no attack of opportunity. Kind of like that. We'll go with that. Go with toughness. Man, one level to finish it. Instead of each range burst attack deals additional damage equal to the current rate. Oh, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, we'll go with that. Though again, keep in mind we are playing on the storyline difficulty because yeah, at this point it came to the point where it was like, yeah, you know, I just want to finish up the story and enjoy it. Oh, that's a nice one, especially for firing a lot of fire. Let's see. That's a good one. Bloody Requiem. This is a game that's full of high amount of what do you call it though? High amount of tactics. And a lot of these abilities, it's just like, my gods. Definitely not as easy as like D&D when it comes to just like, hey, I'm just gonna do this thing. Ability costs 31 new. Blade Dancer faces a side of their choice immediately, ends their turn until the beginning of Blade Dancer next turn. They can dodge area attacks. Oh, we could give her Death Whisper. Yeah, I like that idea. Up her toughness. Yeah, it's not as easy as just, I'm going to cast Magic Missile. With a one-handed shock baton or a one-handed power maul equipped, the Arbiter gains 10% to parry and reduces the weapon skill of enemies to hit. Well, that's pretty good. We do actually have that in our hand. Yeah, it's up as ballistic. Control shot. I feel like that's a good one. I mean, anytime we do like an AoE, we could tell people to basically get the heck out of dodge. Get out of the way. Alright. 2 more left. The Arbiter's allies gain 3 hit chance, a critical when attacking targets affected by exploits. Okay. We made him a really good sniper, but I will say that he definitely is supposed to be really well done with plasma weapons and fire weapons, it seems. And melee. So. Yeah, we'll up his logic some more, why not? The assassin attacks granting 40% dodge to the target of this attack. If the attack hits, it deals an additional 12 rounded down damage, increased by twice the percentage of the target's missing wounds. Will get me closer if needed. Okay. And Ulfa. Space Wolf. Whenever the soldier does damage, their critical is increased by 1% until the end of combat. Only 1%? Doesn't seem like a lot. That's a good one, considering we do use that. Dash might be a pretty good one, to be honest. Get him closer in. Oh no, well, okay, well, we're going agility. Actually, agility was high anyway, so that's fine. Okay, that's everybody.
With each step,
get the equipment
I
off.
forge my destiny among the stars.
Melta, Eruption, a life-draining sword, and Demon World. Oh. See the reviews for the second Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, and they were all good. Nice. Anti-vehicle revolver, auto-striking power sword, panoply of the assassin. Oh, one of them was an assassin. Bonebreaker Maul. Ooh. Kazgrin armor. Okay. A solar staff and light carapace scale armor. Like anything we really use. The maul might be something. Let's see, we have the coffin maker's sledge. What about that maul we just picked up? Alright, so that thing does 25 to 40. $25 to 30. Eh. For Cadia! Yeah, I feel like the stuff we have now is probably the best as it is.
We are bound by the blood of martyrs.
Some goods over here. I'm guessing we're checking out the big old crypt thing, or whatever this treasure thing is. Actually, wait, how did we even get to it? Well, let's go ahead and save. I don't know what's coming up here next. That might be a smart idea. Also, I gotta eat in my bagel. It's getting cold.
We shall reclaim what is rightfully ours.
Alright, can't go that way, can't go that way. Milo's on top of the world. Milo, what are you doing all the way up there? You gonna clean the ceiling, buddy? Huh? Oh, there's stairs. Oh, there's a battle down below. Got it. As soon as you touch the obelisk, ancient Xenos symbols appear in your mind, forming the words, "Open the pocket repository." Calcazar is almost there. Everybody's fighting the Xenos. Or everybody's fighting the Necron.
The divine watches over us.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Maybe let's not go that way. How do we get past the guns? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Demolish it. Go, go, go. Well, that's one way. I got a bad feeling about this, Toto. You know, I just realized if we finish this like relatively soon, oh, I guess we'll just work on the platinum journey we're working on. The Inquisition is here. Oh, here's...
Know your duty.
I see that you did not heed my warning, Stormguard. Your decision to come here in spite of them may have consequences, but we will still have a chance to turn it to everyone's advantage, if your lordship listens to me very carefully. What are you doing here? Exactly what my duty dictates. Saving the Imperium isn't obvious. Is that what you were here for? What is it? You call it a shard, and yes, as you have noted quite aptly, it is the reason I am here. This construct contains an ancient, or rather a pre-ancient being of cosmic power. They were called the Catan. The entity is currently trying to escape, and I am here to collar it. Calcazar nods at the giant device whose design clearly points to it have been brought into the crypt from outside. What is this Catan shard? Or Satan? And what is it doing here? A specimen of an ancient predator race, devourers of pulsars who feasted on star systems, reality itself bent to their power, but many millennia ago, an ancient Xenos race managed to defeat them, shatter them into pieces, and lock them away in prisons like the one you see before you. Oh, let's see. And you think, let's see. I see your ambitions on a truly cosmic scale. I am not in this for my own sake. I am doing my duty. And as for the scale, do you know what ensures the indomitability of every member of the Inquisition? The knowledge that they are personally responsible for the survival of the Imperium, and that the fate of billions hinges on their actions. Do you understand? Personally responsible compared to that scale. Do you think I am daunted by the gravity of this mission? How will taming this creature help save the Imperium? Over my years of service, I have come to realize that the main problem that humanity faces in this war is the imbalance in power. Our opponents are not races or nations, but incomparable monsters, and it's high time we acquired one of our own. My yoke will bind this creature and make it a chained guard serving the Emperor. Oh! That's not the full extent of my vision. There are other shards similar to this one scattered across the galaxy. I plan on seeking them out and confining them all inside the yoke. Each conquered monstrosity will bolster our defenses. Fear. I hear nothing but fear in your words. It was fear that made you believe that His grace alone is not enough to stand against the rising tide of darkness. It was fear that convinced you to seek salvation in the abyss of Xenos filth. You are no guardian of the Imperium. You are just a greedy old coward. Oh, Cabela! Protocols dictate that the Inquisition is beyond the authority of the Adeptus Arbiters, but not only have you put yourself above the Lex Imperialis, you are playing God. I swore to keep order in the Imperium. Now I'm just supposed to stand by and watch you do this? No. I still have many questions for you. Given the circumstance of our meeting, I do not see why I should hide anything. I seriously doubt you will share this information with anyone else for one reason or another. Why did you call for the Astrades to come to your aid? I need a remarkably strong force to keep my Xenos allies in check. The Emperor's Angels were just the weapon I was looking for. Except considering the sensitive nature of my operation, I couldn't very well risk requesting aid from my allies in the Death Watch, could I? And then I remembered an old debt owed to me by a Space Wolves great company, so I decided to call in a favor. They were an asset at first. The Wolves helped me close the Dimensional Gate by overwhelming its security systems. I tasked them with hunting the Xenos condemned by Yrmiris, but eventually they started prying, and that was unacceptable. I could control Thorvald by giving him more tempting targets, but the baleful Howl Pack. They raided an outpost where my agents had been meeting with the Drukhari. The pack took prisoners but lost the esteemed brother Ulfar. I hoped they would give all to their search, but instead the wolves forced the system's coordinates out of their captives and came crashing down on my head. They had no gate to transport them. They used nothing but their warp engines. Thankfully, they realized the situation too late, so Tanakia managed to neutralize them. Ulfar stares coldly at him, the deadly frost of Fenris crackling in his voice as he speaks. You will pay for this, Evia Calcasa. Know that I will have my blood vengeance. I will have your death. How'd this thing end up in your possession? Thanks to your predecessor, I arrived in the expanse of the call of the Explorator fleet to deal with Archimagos Amarant's heresy. But I quickly came to the realization that the Kronos Expanse problems ran much deeper than tech heresy. Unprecedented piracy, running wild, blatant smuggling of Xeno artifacts, willful and impetuous rogue traders, and growing threat of ruinous powers, all of this region that the Drukhari consider their domain. Frankly, I considered purging the entire expanse. It would have been much easier to burn down this whole tangle of threats and corruption, but the web of spies that I had woven presented me with much more interesting and radical solutions. While investigating Arnat's connections, I turned my eye to Theodora von Valentius, who ultimately gave me the shard. How was Theodora involved in all this? Theodora's instincts were uncanny. She spent decades hunting for a key that could open the dimensional gate, as if she knew that there was something incredible waiting for her on the other side. Her ladyship was lucky enough to discover the shard during one of her expeditions, a trophy that was too much for her to handle. Archimagos Armanat studied it on Theodora's behalf, creating weapons in exchange for access to the dangerous relic, but their research was too primitive and unambitious compared to the true power contained inside the shard. I had one of my own acolytes, Tanakia, send her spies to Theodora. They infiltrated the rogue trader's retinue, earned their trust, and reported to me about this magnificent object. The rest was trivial. I seized Apata and laid down the conditions of our further coexistence. She was wise enough to concede defeat with dignity. I commenced Operation Precious Sentinel. I left the garrison on Epitah, took the key to the dimensional gate from Theodora, sealed the gate, and started the creation of the yoke. I kept Theodora and her heirs in my sights just in case. Not long before her death, I assigned Heinrichs to her and ordered her to rendezvous with him on Rykard Minoris, but your lordship inherited him instead. I admit I wasn't aware of you. Theodora managed to keep her secret heir up her sleeve. So instead of eradicating Theodora's misdeeds, you chose to inherit them. What is the yoke? A containment device similar to this one, except better. The yoke was devised by the brightest minds of two races using the ancient wisdom of a long-gone Xeno civilization. A prison capable of not only holding the Satan shard, but also controlling it while releasing fractions of its being. An instrument of obedience and destruction, a masterpiece whose creation required immense effort. It was made on Euphrates too. I captured Armorant's student, Exomantha, and she passed all of her mentor's drafts to me. And the one overseeing the process was none other than your acquaintance, the tech priest Cubus Delphin. His fall was regrettable. It seems the unorthodox daring things he did at my behest drove him to break his vows and sink into heresy. But the human mind could never have comprehended the shard alone, and thus I appealed the inhuman mind, struck a deal with the Drukhari, and let the sacraments and secrets of the Adeptus Mechanicus registered. Inciting a devout tech priest to commit heresy registered, blasphemous merging of secret technologies for forbidden ones registered, further transition regression discontinued. The drill on Pascal's Mechandrite screeches on fury. You collaborated with the Drukhari? Alas, the operation demanded it. Through the agents of one of my acolytes, Emelina, I contacted Archon Yemeris and made a pact. I gave her access technologies contained within this relic and destroyed her rivals in the Cabal. She would relay information on the raids to my spies, and I have solved the problem. In exchange, her Homunculus Tervantis forged a yoke for me. Of course, I did not let him near the shard itself, but rather set up a laboratory for him on Quetzaltemur. It was safer that way. All the pieces were contributing to my plan, but none had enough information to comprehend the entirety of it. What do Drukhari want with the shard? It is one of the most complicated and perfect creations of a race much older than the Drukhari. It is no mere object, but a treasure trove of technology. A wise master can uncover many secrets simply by observing it. Nothing can excuse consorting with inhumans. Yeah, this is not very dogmatic of you there, sir. Trust me, your lordship, the threat of the alien pales in comparison to that posed by the ruinous powers. Ymiris could plunder 1,000 worlds, but she is no Yurlon the Cruel. She was as great a danger to her own kin as she was to the Imperium. The disruption she caused among the Drukhari was only to our benefit. She intended to trigger a powerful disjunction in Camorra, thereby destroying her rivals and elevating her own cabal in the process. Knowing full well how precarious her grand plan was, I made no attempt to talk her out of it. With a little luck, we wouldn't have need worry about Camorra's influence. It was a dark day when you dropped from the tail of your rotten womb mother, you lonesome traitor. Ooh! Ow! That hurt. While we were fighting to exterminate the Xenos, you were busy carousing with them. Had I known sooner, I would have ripped your pitch-black heart right out of your chest. I readily believe that. Since we are being so candid, I must note that you proved to be a much less convenient tool than I anticipated. This new information about a pack combined with the astro observation data collected in the star system revolves the inconsistencies identified earlier. Unit Xavier Calcazar stands accused of stealing the astrographic records of the Cognizance fleet. I'm amazed by your analytical prowess. Yes, I needed stars to feed the shard. The cabal of the Reaving Tempest could steal them and bring them here, but it was imperative to preserve the energy perimeters so not to trigger the object's premature detonation. I procured the necessary information on suitable stars for the Explorator's fleet data scriptum. Registering a Category 1 blasphemy, Unit Xavier Calpsar is hereby sentenced to intravital dissection and study. Upon the concession of vital functions that units remain must be disposed of in disgrace. Oh. Yeah, he was the one that did it, huh? Wow. So that was the reason the stars were just getting, like, popped out of existence. The denizens of the Rykod system, Santiel's pride, and all the other starless worlds, you were the one who sentenced them to death by sending Drakari after their sons. Well noted, yes, I acted as their executioner. As regrettable as those losses were, however, to overestimate their importance to the Imperium would have been folly. Every single day humanity pays for a far more terrible price. That must be brought to an end. And then I take it you decide to get rid of your Xenos allies. There was no more need for them, seeing as the yoke was almost complete and the situation was escalating out of control. Theodore was dead, the cult of the Final Dawn had reared its head and was preparing to strike, and Ymiris had forgotten her place. She was putting forward too many elimination requests. When I told her to curb her appetite, she retaliated. The theft of the Rykard star was timed to occur when Master von Calix would be on the planet. The Archon wanted to rob me of one of my agents and send a message. And then the Cronus Expanse was engulfed in flame. I had to rush the operation to declare sector-wide martial law. The Wepley gate that Ymiris warriors had been using was destroyed and the facility on Quetzaltesmer razed. I evacuated half of the yoke that Tervantius had completed, but it was too late to retrieve the second half from Euphrates too. Cubus Delpha revealed to Erlon the cruel where he should strike, and that almost spelt the end of the Operation Precious Sentinel. I appreciate your efforts in resolving this problem. In fact, you turned out to be much more useful than Theodore ever was. I see. You have come so far in pursuit of answers, it would be cruel to leave your curiosity unsatisfied. Seeing as the inhabitants of this place almost killed you, I gather that something went wrong with this plan of yours. Not at all. Operation Precious Sentinel is in its final stages. The increase in Xenos activity is vexing yet trivial development in the grand scheme of things. They were supposed to guard the device, but they slept through the intrusion, and the Satan Shard's emanations could make them stir. Theodore's research to stabilize the Shard's prison, and my project only made it worse. Whenever particles of the Satan Shard's energy seep out, many curious phenomena occur. The destruction of the crypt, the warp reality. When I tame the monster, I will order to stop disrupting the laws of the universe. And that brings us to the most interesting part of our conversation. You know my plans, and now I want to know yours. Will you admit that I am in the right and join me in this undeniably ambitious act, or will you try to stop me? I'll be upfront with you. If it is the latter, I'll be forced to remove you. But I am sure you realize that already. Ooh! Ooh! Now listen to yourself. What you are planning is heresy! Enough. It will only be heresy if I lose. If I prevail, it will be a triumphant feat in the name of saving humanity from the horrors of this universe, and I will not lose. Wow, we can actually choose to, like, join him on that? That's crazy. Milo, please. Okay, come on, buddy. Come on, down. Thank you. No, we can't let this happen. This is not the true purpose of the Emperor. I will not let you bring this insane plan to fruition. The Inquisitor nods calmly. There is not a shred of hatred or disappointment in his face. Farewell, then. I'm glad to have made your acquaintance, Stormguard. Despite everything, eliminate the rogue traitor. Eliminate this!
I will take you down.
Eliminate this, Calcazar. Alright, what do we got? We have an enforcer. Oh, that's a lot of techs. Veterans, okay. Alright, not the worst thing in the world. I kind of don't mind where everybody is, to be honest. There's not a lot of room for everybody to put everybody in other places. Alright. Let's do it.
Weapon at the ready.
Ow.
My faith strengthens me.
Ow! No, we're fine. Alright, sing to him. Let's up our damage. I'll start hunting down some prey. Let's burn the heretics.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
Oh, yeah, we could do this. Nice. Let's dash back here. Oh, I should have reloaded first. God dang it. Oh, I screwed that up.
Let's
Alright.
make it quick.
Oh. Wow, his retinue is like nothing. These guys are gonna fall very quickly. Just saying. I got 2 left. I can run right into them. And we'll give him a boot as well. Okay, that one's a little more on the tougher side.
Hold on. I have become the All-Father's worthy instrument.
Oh boy, this one's calling into the warp.
Let's get to it.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold up there, Holder. Nice. All right. Any other fun things we got going on here for them? Oh, you know what we could dash. Hold on, let's try this. Okay. Oh, now you've done it.
Brings me no pleasure.
Ooh, he's parrying all my attacks.
The shadows will see it done.
It was spilled in the blood of the Emperor.
Explorers know one route forward.
All right, let's exploit on him. Oh, can I not? Oh, all right, yeah, there we go. There we go. Let's buff everybody up that way. Let's knock down his amount there. Alright, let's go for a Death Whisper on this guy.
The scriptural prognosis is favorable.
Let's snipe on this one. Very nice. Not really too worried about them. They literally have like 22 hit points. I'm more concerned about these ones that have 492.
Here we go. Out of my way. You want some more? Die! Die! Die!
Alright, come on, Glado.
Accepted.
Nice. Let's see here. What can we do with Glado? Give it standby, I guess. Maybe that might break it out. I wonder maybe if it's the item it has on him or something like that. I need you to bleed, sir. Oh!
Let's get to it. Stay vigilant. Break them up.
Oh! Glado!
Now blood-and body than corrupt in mind.
Oh, this fight over here. Interesting one.
This is why I was chosen.
Let's see what else we got here. Cold blood. Put that on him. Olfa.
None can do this better than a warrior of the All-Father. Wolves reign! My hand is thunder! My strike is ruin!
Nice. Nice. Alright, that's one of the Inquisitioner's men done. I don't gotta worry about him so much. We'll start moving in here to help out.
Hold on.
Okay, let's see here. Let's give Pascal an extra attack, which will allow us to maybe shoot. Very nice.
Rejoice in service.
Follow my lead. Ah. Alright, let's up that. Let's do this. Captive audience. Nice. Calcatar's taking some decent damage here. Exploit him for days.
The Messiah knows all, comprehends all.
Let's get rid of this guy. Nice.
Let's get to it.
He just died because the thing exploded on him? That's fantastic. Couldn't ask for that to be any better on that end. Ugh. Galado. No. Well, might as well just reload the shotgun at this point.
Here we go.
Oh, nice.
Follow my lead.
Well, at least if anything, he's focusing completely on Glado, considering Glado can't do much anyway. My God, that man has a lot of attacks. Let's see here. Burn for your heresy. I think that's all we've got. Do that. Do that. We do that.
See how the wolf succeeds. Cubs play. The All-Father's worthy instrument.
Now we're gonna move here and here.
My hand is thunder. My strike is ruin.
Let's do that. Ooh. 162.
Feel the icy bite of death.
Oh, let me get up in there. Oh, that strike. The hell you think you're going? Oh, who gets to do the finishing kill? I think we'll give it to Cabela.
I shall not fail.
Or then again, I might not be able to.
I will not be deterred.
Okay. I don't think I can do anything until we kill this last one. There's one more, right? Yeah, up here. Okay.
Guided by faith.
I'm just gonna get everybody in position. I feel like that something's gonna happen here. Not enough for him to take a shot there. I can move him up though.
Hold the formation.
There we go.
No, it is too early. The yoke must be activated, or all is lost.
No, 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 no. Don't be activated, no York. Yoke. York, yoke. Oh, it's almost. Uh-oh. An invisible yet clearly tangible aura of power envelopes the figure clad in the robes of the tech priest. It is all the more baffling to hear a youthful, excited voice from under the hood. This is it, the place of our origin. Nomos' gaze is trained upon the Satan shard. It was your strike and your wish to escape your prison that begot us. The mysterious creature that has been your ship's soul for so long turns to face you. But it's you, Stormgar, who truly ushered us into this world, so let us meet our abominable precursor together, for it is ready to break free. Greetings, Nomos. We are out of time. Now it escapes. It escapes now. What escapes? Oh, hi, buddy. Oh, hi, buddy. You are very clean. Ah! Get my stuff over. You're knocking my stuff over. Ooh! What is that? This thing has the power to kill worlds, right? Great. Oh. We get no okay, we're going right into battle against this thing. Wait. Oh, okay, I'm here. Where is... I'm so confused. Okay, buddy, come here. Come here, come here. Back on the grid. There you go. Thank you. What are we fighting? Oh! Alright, there it is. Never mind, I know what we're fighting. 6,000 hit points! What the fuck? $6,000 hit points? When did I join Final Fantasy? You're kidding, right? I don't think you're kidding. Oh, that's a good spot for him, actually, right there. $6,000 hit points. Well, not that you're gonna do much, but you know. Okie dokie. Did that just throw us like, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, okay. Wait, huh? Well, now I'm confused. Did we go after the 6,000 one, or did we go after the cop? I don't get it. I mean, let's just get to fighting. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out along the way. Let's just get into the thick of it.
As the tenants do.
The threads of purpose are unraveling.
Well, Alfar's right into the thick of it. Let's do it.
My strike is ruin! The threads of purpose are unraveling.
Even give it a kick. Alright, let's see here. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's exploit it. I mean, I feel like that's our biggest target. Long boss fight time. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess we should be destroying these things too, I feel like. Or this is going to come back and haunt us.
Analysis successful. Opponents cannot damage a star.
Well, that's good. Oh, we're down to 4,000. Wait, I'm over here now? Okay. They moved me here, I guess. Oh, I should have did to him first. He's going to take an attack of opportunity on me! Okay, we're fine. We're fine. Get him, Cabela!
The threads of purpose unraveling. A fleeting moment of integrity.
My blade whispers your name. Caught by the web.
Threads of purpose are unraveling.
Let your soul be purged.
Ooh, what? What's that doing? Where's the beam sitting over there? Oh! What does that do? I don't know what that's doing. Down to 3,000.
Caught by thine own way. As honor ordains.
Okay. Give that to Old Farm. Crack it with a hammer. Put our shield up.
The enemies of the Emperor will be undone.
Sing the hymns. He is definitely a target. Let's up our amount of damage. Okay, he's making more copies. We just work on him then. Except I don't know what that is. Energy orb? That might not be good. Alright. Start eradicating those. Fortunately, we can't do anything with damn Glado. Oh!
The threads of purpose soul a shattered divinity.
Nice. Oh, I don't like these energy orbs, but I feel like they're gonna explode and do a massive amount of damage or something.
The shadows.
Well, they exploded, so at least they're, well, like that one exploded, I should say, like that.
Trust me.
This fight's not as bad, but then again, I mean, we are playing in story mode, so I feel like this is probably making this super easy.
So it shall be.
Take victim's place? What is that? Oh. Oh, okay, we gotta try to break him out of that, whatever that is. Can't fire against those? Oh no, we hit him.
Moments of integrity gone.
It's down to 500 hit points. You know what to do, girly girl. You know what to do. Oof. Wait, are we gonna be able to get the last hit on him? Oh my god. Yes! I love it when the leader gets the last hit. Hell yeah! The ancient monster struggles against the energy manacles of the yoke. Its possible powers that make reality itself burst at the seams are now being forced into a compact dungeon, quark by quark, returning it to a cruel and painful non-existence in the moment. It could struggle harder, but something is hindering it. You are the cause of this hindrances. Only now does the Satan shard its focus to you. For the battle was nothing more than the reflexive resistance of an alien mind absorbed in a completely different range of thoughts and responses. But now it is thinking about you, and its thoughts are so corporeal that you can sense them and know them. It seeks an end to the confrontation and is capable of resolving it in a way that would benefit all. More and more tears appear all over the shard's form. As the yoke absorbs its power, it becomes increasingly harder for the shard to maintain its physical structure. Each imperfection you inflict brings the star predator closer to imprisonment. Do not bow your head before our indomitable precursor. It was begotten by the dark abyss of the past. It is a fragment of that which devoured stars and erased civilizations. It knows no benefit other than its own. Allow us to stand against it. This is our time, our impossible chance. Ooh, okay. As yet another layer of reality cracks, a figure appears before you, her. After giving you a probing and appraising look, Theodora permits herself a smile. Nomos, if our birth ever had a purpose, then it is here and now. Why do you call the shard your precursor? Because that is what it is, and what we are. We have told you before about Theodora's ambition, Amarat's mind, the ship's cradle, and the Epita's secret. One sprouted into another and spurred yet another, thus Nomos was born. But we were but an echo of the shard's power, an echo that's left its prison. But we have become something so much more with your help. What do you intend to do? Clash with the precursor, touch it, absorb it, so that the reflection becomes the object reflected, so that shard becomes Nomos, then and only then will its threat be eradicated forever. You think you can do this, and what will happen afterward? We stand at the threshold of probabilities, and outside the bounds of predictable. It is beyond possible to know whether we can or cannot. But we are poised to die trying. This is our sacrifice to the light of Terra, our chance to atone for our birth. If we survive, we will use the shard's power to serve the Imperium as its most loyal and powerful subject that ever there is or ever will be. We did show it the light. We did bring it to the side of the Emperor. I have made my decision. Yeah, I really can't care much about Theodora at this point. She lied and cheated and did all this anyway. Act now, my child. We are ready for the most important battle of our life. Wish us luck. Noma steps toward the shard and the whole world explodes into a terrifying whirlwind. You can hear the colors and see the touches. Ice burns your hands while fire leaves you freezing. And in the midst of this madness, you can clearly sense a battle raging, a clash of two beings, one endlessly ancient and the other endlessly young. The power of the Satan Shard is such that it redefines the very notion of power, but it has a weakness, one that you can only see now. I see only now. With the shard and its rival standing face to face, the shard is just that, a shard. It is incomplete, it is not whole, and it cannot be what the Satan was before. What opposes the shard is something entirely different, an undivided sentient being with a clear purpose in mind, akin to a well-aimed arrow. And the one who fletched and loosed the arrow was you. The battle goes on and on and on, outrunning the course of time, but you do not need the gift of clairvoyance to know who will emerge victorious. Get him, Nomos! For the Emperor! The grand finale! Oh, shit. You raised your own abomination? What? The Satan Shard was transmuted in a new form, and their name was Nomos. Possessing the power of an ancient being and nurtured by the Rogue Trader, the young star god watched over the Kronos expanse, their new domain, with curiosity. Gathering its bleeding worlds together again, the Rogue Trader restored order in the expanse without compromise, protecting the faith and leaving behind any notion that the region could ever be beyond his righteous justice. An expansion began that would slowly turn the sector into a new province of the Imperium, where rogue traders were no longer needed. The subjugated deity in House von Valencia's service ensured the Imperium's firm grip on the Expanse's throat. By eradicating enemies and unbelievers, the rogue trader bestowed a gift upon the sector, a faith in the certainty of retribution. Perceiving themselves as an entity deeply beholden to the Emperor, at the very least of the account of their unholy existence, Nomos exterminated corruption with extra zeal, sometimes razing entire worlds. Weaknesses of human nature such as doubt, mercy, or self-loathing were unknown to the God Emperor's perfect beast. News from the Expanse was met with deep concern within the Imperium. Some began speaking of a punitive campaign. Though they quickly fell silent, the lone ship broke through the Great Rift carrying a letter to Dargonus bearing the Inquisition's seal. But what the letter contained and who penned it is better left unknown. Strict abidance of the law and devotion to the Imperial Creed brought great renown to the Rogue Trader. Every planetary turn, on every world in the sector, thousands of prayers were offered up to the Golden Throne, praising the name of the Guardian of the Kronos Expanse. Legend has it that the God Emperor himself favored his steward, granting him a miraculous power to crush evil and shielding him from enemy plots. The truth is that the the Archy in its battle to control the narratives in the Imperium persecuted those who spread such tales, as well those who demanded that the Rogue Trader be proclaimed a living saint. Incendia Cordia continued her merciless fight against the heresies plaguing the Expanse. Not concerning herself with notions of jurisdiction, she brought the Imperium's justice everywhere she went, killing heretics by the thousands. Stained glass windows with her likeness illuminated by bonfires graced the sector's chapels. With her tightening grip of fear, the prayers of the pious became ever more fervent in their reverence of the gracious Chastiers. After openly embracing the patrons of the Skull God, Caligos Winterscale swept over the expanse like a fiery tornado, bombing peaceful planets and destroying void ships. His dynasty's realm became a nest of piracy and heresy that required immediate purging. Oh, wow. Interesting on that end. Thanks to the patronage of the Von Valancius dynasty, the cult of St. Drusus was successful in spreading its influence across the expanse. Overshadowed, the cults of other saints lost their followers and faced a harsh choice: slip into obscurity or swear allegiance to the ideals of Drusus the warrior. Harmonius Doroso remained the most revered priest in the cult of St. Drusus. He turned no one away, hearing confessions from pirates, bilge rats, deserters, and beggars alike. It might have been one of those undeserving wretches who infected him with the rare form of leprosy that robbed him of his sight, and his heart could always see the corruption in the souls of his repenting children. In the following years, the Cognizance fleet slowly and deliberately left the explored systems of the Expanse for the furthest remote regions. Observation stations and claimed worlds were abandoned, and even Euphrates II became derelict. Statistical divination warned the fleet's conclave of the grim events awaiting the Expanse, and they decided to deliver their fellows from the coming storm, and they did not share the truth with the lay people. The schism of the discontinuing the cycle was over. The repentance of Pascal Hahnemann put a stop to the discussion about whether to update the algorithms and procedures of worship. The secret of Eschatos was declared heresy against the Deus Mechanicus and forgotten. The Cognizance fleet was reunited and ready to meet the decay and degradation of knowledge prophesied by Archmagos Arnorat. Magos Dominus Opticon 22 was sent to the forward scouting squadron by the fleet conclave. The reason for this was the discovery of the support he secretly stored in his computing blocks for the discontinuing of the cycle. His ship disappeared without a trace in a research raid. The crisis in the Expanse dealt a serious blow to the business interests of the Fellowship of the Void. Having no powerful allies, they retreated into the darkness of frontier systems. The hard life they faced there forged them into a new tribe, furious, wild, and willing to do anything for survival. They swore to return and retake what had once been theirs. Oh, we sent the pirates back to their... Yeah. After Ryza's death, her place was taken by a quiet man who simply called himself a useful acquaintance and was prone to coining his own nonsensical words. Few guessed that his scrawny fellow had been Ryza's first mate, who possessed an iron will and truly monstrous nature. On his quiet orders, the pirates conducted brazen and violent raids. Violence throughout the Expanse put many on their guard, and as a result, the Casbalic Commission's business declined. Soon rumors surfaced among the cold traders that a so-called commission had been made through the Maw and into the Expanse. Its professed purpose was to audit assets and take measures of restructure operations. These words carried with them an ominous threat. When Octavian became the new leader of the Casbalica mission, she made every effort to not end up like Vladimir. The mission's leadership demanded profits, and quarters and forces thirsted for blood. Octavian's dilemma sorted itself out when one day all of Footfall's cold traders were arrested and herded into the Adeptus Amacicus. The ship was undocked from the station and left adrift towards Furibundus with no fuel and almost no air. Octavian was not aboard. She had made a deal to turn over all her accomplices, and she disappeared with a fortune and thrones. Oh, wow. The Imperial Navy was wary of the rise of the Von Valancius. They saw themselves as dogs guarding the flock of the Emperor's subjects, and there was a new master of the pack. Therefore, the dynasty was watched with utmost diligence, and the admirals feared that one day they would have to go to war against the rogue traitor. Chartist Captain Asterius Thorfast founded the Thorfast and Companions Merchant Company. Excelling in trade and acquiring a substantial escort fleet, after 3 decades he traveled to the Maw to return to the Imperium in hopes of obtaining the fabled warrant of trade. It's not known how this venture ended. The protracted search for their marshal had so weakened the Adeptus Arbitrus that their new leader had to spend the rest of their life restoring the order within the organization. While the Arbiters were busy dealing with their internal problems, lawlessness and disobedience flourished throughout the expanse. Dargonis continued to grow for 2 decades until a terrifying rebellion put a decisive end to its prosperity. A genetic abomination known as the G-Stealer cult infiltrated the hives of the Dargonis and tried to take over the world. Millions were exterminated in purges, and street battles destroyed many hives, sending Dargonis back centuries and depriving it of its chances to become the capital of the expanse. Oh wow. Kivagama washed off the stain of its former defilement and became known as the pious and productive world. Hard work and inquisitive study of the mysteries of technology glorified the Deus Mechanicus. Kivagama grew and new manufacturers were founded until disturbing reports started to trickle in many years later. It seemed that someone had secretly taken control of the colony, shrouding it in a tangle of conspiracy. Neither inquiries nor threats to tech priests or executions helped. Someone in the shadows was weaving their web and making secret plans. Mysterious xeno anomalies plagued Janus for many years. The ghosts of the Inhumans who had controlled the planet continued to haunt the land. The serfs suffered from strange maladies, and the agri-complexes were simply struck by blight and famine. The servants of the rogue trader feared that the ghastly planet and sought to be transferred off the filthy Agranian colony at the first opportunity. Vistenza Viat's reign was long and bloody. The Prince of the Pleasure bestowed the secrets of metamorphosis upon her, and Janus's nature was transformed. An endless string of serfs were sent into her palace, their blood, flesh, and souls consumed in experimentation or endless revelry. Over the years, Vistenza's body became covered in scales, becoming long and sinuous. She no longer left her lair, which was filled with specimens of delicious degradation and corrupted wisdom. Oh boy, yeah, I think we should have killed her in the beginning. 5 years after the Epita campaign, Vebas 4 died out, or Vebas 6 died out, as a result of an unknown scourge that came from beneath the ground. Convicts and overseers were poisoned, mangled, or just disappeared. However, the slave barracks were quickly repopulated, for there was no shortage of outcasts and criminals in the expanse. Foulstone grew and continued to draw believers to it under the enlightened rule of the rogue trader. Alas, not every soul among them was pure. Preachers of degenerate interpretations of the imperial creed, false prophets, and madmen also came, hoping to find a flock on the holy world. Finding dangerous heresies like the Neomalpian sect led to irregular bloody purges that earned Foulstone a grim reputation. Jesus, talk about dark endings for a lot of these places. Well, it is a grim, dark world, so. With the fall of their unholy patron, the Edge of Daybreak, the cult of the Final Dawn perished as well. Every cell of the cult was hunted down and eliminated. Rumors that some worshippers of the ruinous powers had managed to get away, hiding the writings of their warp-banished lord under their robes were baseless. Okay, I guess that one wasn't bad. Left without a mission or leader, the world bearers retreated to the depths of the Immaterium. Their last act of vengeance was a bloody assault on Footfall. The populace of several asteroids was exterminated or enslaved, and the statue of the God Emperor was badly damaged. Heresy! The great judgment of Incendia Corda and the atrocities committed by her confessional units bled Footfall dry. The station soon faced a labor shortage, and few survivors of the religious purges could handle the increased workloads. Without thrones from the cold trade, the station fell into decay. Footfall entered an era of piety, hunger, and hardship. Left without a sun, the Rycat system ceased to exist. Its now frigid planets spun away into darkness, no longer held by the gravitational pull of their star. A century later, a fragment of Rykad Minoris entered the Furibundus system and was snared by void miners. A piece of its rock was delivered to Footfall, but reverence and used in the restoration of the God Emperor's statue as a final memorial to the world devoured by corruption. For the heresy contained within Thassaterium, its world of origin was condemned to a holy exterminatus. When the execution fleet's orbital cannons unleashed their full power on the planet, a blue fire filled its core, which in its dying flash scorched the minds of all who observed its destruction. Thus was Therasa's vengeance on those who dared decide its fate. Rumors of the rotting remains of the Alderi craft world spread around the expanse. Explorators, privateers, Casbalic agents, and anyone hungry for easy money all rushed to the frontier systems to vie for a piece of the prize. Some were swallowed by the warp, while others perished in skirmishes with their rivals. The most skilled and fortunate returned empty-handed after decades of searching. The colossal ship, as big as an imperial world, simply vanished, as if it had never existed. But the legend of the forbidden treasure lived on and continued to bring daring souls to ruin. Half a century later, the Expanse trembled to the echo of the Aldari war songs. Myriad war bands appeared out of nowhere, leaving a trail of bodies in their wake before disappearing at the Webway gates, masterfully hidden from eyes of the Monkey. The children of Assyrian had come to avenge the death of the craft world, Kradurak. Their woeful retribution lasted many decades until both races were war-worn and out of blood to spill. Somewhere on the underside of the reality lay Camorra, woven from manifold other dimensions and illuminated, as always, with the light of the stolen suns, its streets ever filled with screams and agony. Any misfortune experienced by the Dark City became another scar on its appealing face, lost among thousands of other vile blemishes. As long as the pain pulsed in its blood-soaked spires, the insatiable and unshakable Camorra continued its fight through the Webway. Along with its unchanging ruler, the leader of the Cabal, the Black Heart, and the most dangerous of all Jukari, Asdrubal Vect. After the Road Trader's vision, dimensional rifts opened around the spire of the Reaving Tempest, flooding the streets of Camorra with demons. This incursion terrified Camorra. The Cabal of the Black Heart managed to stop it, but some Archons saw the event as a sign of their leader's weakness. Others interpreted it as a grim omen for the entirety of the Dark City. The fall of the Cabal of the Reaving Tempest united Camorra for a brief and bloody moment. The elites of the Dark City set their squabbles aside and found a new game in tearing apart the domain of Archon Ymeris. The fate of the Reaving Tempest reminded the other Cabals that nothing lasts forever in the Dark City, save the city itself. The bloodbath unleashed on the Commissar's squad in the arena of the Fatal Thirst was like a sudden flash, short yet powerful enough to be seen. News of the audacious stunt spread throughout the Dark City. To stifle the threat of the riots, the Archons executed innumerable prisoners who had been rotting away in the years in the spires, dungeons. Then they ventured to human worlds in search of new servants. Leaving the Necron systems behind, the Star God vengefully obliterated every tomb world of the ancient Xenos race. The old hatred of the Satan, betrayed by their deathless servants, whispered inside him. Following Lethos' destruction, its tith ended up in the tenacious grip of the Administratium. The clerks stashed the wealth of the Kronos Expanse away in warehouses. A few years later, a decision was made to transport the tribute across the Maw, where the barges carrying the immense wealth were lost without a trace. Of course they were. The voice of Voxmaster Vigus Suri Ada of the Ptoleman dynasty was long heard in the Kronos Expanse, trumpeting the arrival of the Road Trader. It brought glad tidings to the faithful and instilled horror in heretics awaiting righteous retribution. After her death, Vigus was granted the honor of being immortalized in the Herald's Servitor skull. For many centuries to come, her voice praised the Von Valentius dynasty, transmitting orders across decks. Nice. Master Helmsman Raver diligently executed his duties until his dying day without once succumbing to sleep's sweet embrace. Only when a piece of shell penetrated the ship's armored hull and was stopped by the stern officer's unyielding chest did he finally know rest, leaning against his trusty helm. Sacrificing his health in digital service to the Road Trader and letting his waistline expand even more, Ifactorum Janus Danrock watched over the dynasty's riches for years. The day his body was found sprawled over paperwork in his office, his assistant came forward with 2 reports. The most esteemed Janus Danrock has passed away of natural causes due to complications of a weakened heart. And, as regards your assets, everything is in order. Jocasta Sourback carried on her service as Master of Arms, maintaining order on the decks with maul and noose. Over the years, she took several husbands, and her descendants came to be named Sourbacks of the Void, a lesser offshoot of the eminent aristocratic clan from the capital world. Zachary Wise, Cairo Master of the Astropaths, turned his shame and repentance into an iron chain binding his soul. Cold and detached, he would never again take a personal apprentice or become close with a subordinate. He dedicated himself to impeccable service, unfailingly carrying out the Lord Captain's orders and surviving at least 7 incidents that wiped out the entire Astropathic choir. Vladimir Tokar ended his days as a maintenance servitor on a janitorial team, losing his life due to an error by a technomat who sent him to clean a compartment scheduled for decompression. The technomat received the penance of several electrical whippings and final equal to his annual pay as punishment for negligent handling of property. The former prefect was sentenced to tithe accounting duty for the rest of her life. For several years she inhabited a tiny room stacked with papers, until one day she felt the life going out of her withered body. She assembled her few subordinates and meticulously handed over her various responsibilities. Her final words were, "This completes the reading of the list. Rank 2 clerk in Scribia Volter is hereby stepping down for death-related reasons." High Overseer Gregorus Starks of Vivas had rendered his duties with a zeal unfathomable to the common mind. Under his leadership, the penal world became a paragon of order and a place of incarceration that criminals feared more than death. Strax spent his final years in a small, damp room, disturbingly reminiscent of a jail cell. He declined every award and honor for his arduous service and preferred solitude to any kind of company. Wow. Urban Drivestem cared more about preserving the influence of his line than the well-being of the Protectorate. His blind ambition lost him his governor's seat and respect of his family. Within a few generations, one of the largest houses of Dargonus turned to an obscure family of petty aristocrats. Oriana Gapfrak missed the moment when her family, which had previously functioned like a well-oiled machine, started to fall apart. Racked by infighting among her distant relatives, many blamed Toriana for the Kiva Gama disaster. Soon the Gaprak family splintered into warring factions and spent centuries locked in a violent struggle, only occasionally punctuated by futile attempts to reunite the house. Macarius Sourback was loyal to the rogue trader to the last. Despite all the rumors to the contrary, finding little affection among his subjects or family, he stayed true to himself, remaining a forthright, severe, and pious person. Macarius strived to ensure that every soul in his charge felt justifiably dread before him and the God Emperor. Over the years, the elder Sourback even grew close to the rogue trader, at least as far as such a cold and ill-disposed person could. After he proved himself a dutiful and merciless warrior, he became the warden of Dargonus and vigilantly guarded the Lord Captain's life and peace. Members of House Warsarian served the dynasty faithfully and loyally, amassing more and more power. A century later, they had finally gained the respect enjoyed by other noble houses, yet power and luxury can dull any blade. And now pampered and idle aristocrats were scarcely recognizable as descendants of the formidable seneschal Warsarian. Clementia Warsarian, granddaughter of Alberad, and Chancellor of Dargonus, executed her duties irreproachably and even found time to school the younger generations of her family. She was an equally skilled mentor, chancellor, and political operative. After a century of immaculate service, she surprised everyone by leaving her position and becoming the first mate on a trade ship. She would later admit, like a true Warsarian, that she had always had a passion for ships and voidfaring. Branches of House Gaprak and Warsarian became intertwined for a time after the marriage of Astardia and Vincent. To the great sadness of the couple, the great amusement of the spiteful Dargonus nobility, their marriage produced no children. Just like her ancestors, Astardia Warsarian Gaprak dedicated her life to service. Crushed by the events that shook the stability of his house and his inability to provide an heir, Vincent lived in his wife's shadow. When his time came, he passed away without notice. The retribution and nocturne of oblivion promised the rogue trader arrived when relentless Eldari Avengers swept down on the Von Valencia's protectorate. In their wake, several Harlequin troops performed the monstrous and mesmerizingly bloody melody of the coals fading in the night that bathed Janus in sorrow and fury of the playwright in a horned mask. Maeve settled into life aboard the flagship surprisingly quickly, and her kindness and gentle nature touched the hearts of the crew. One dashing officer made his romantic interest known, but Maeve spurned his advances, hiding behind high collars and shawls as figuring marks of the dark ritual that had taken place on Thessera. When Maeve's suitors at last secured her consent to marry, little did he know that he was walking into a blood-soaked nightmare. Just before the ceremony, his bride-to-be transformed into a chaos spawn. Oh! To the cries of horror and despair, the creature gorged itself on the shattered hopes until it was slain by the arriving enforcers. It said that as the creature lay bleeding, it tried to sing a surprisingly tender tune and called out to someone named Dane. The name of Ioka Sotny, also known as the Commissar, a traitor and a liar who found repentance at the end of his life and died in the name of the Emperor, was not forgotten. Drusian preachers held him up as an example, saying that even the most vile soul can be purified. The regiment of the Victantine, I don't even know how to say that, honored his deed by naming after him a penal unit of prisoners sentenced to death in battle. Voidfarers shared grim tales about the Von Valencia's flagship. Monsters dwelt in the bowels of the vessel, they whispered, and from time to time the servants of those monsters descended to worlds and stations to spread corruption. These rumors were suppressed as criminal slander, but that made them no less true. Many generations later, a great rebellion of genetic abomination shook the expanse. Mutants born of profane xeno disease revolted at the call of their fearsome four-armed angel Dargo. Dargonus, the glorious capital of Von Valence, was lost. Cleansed of genetic abomination once before, it was now tainted by it again, this time forever, after becoming a breeding ground for mutants. Dargonus proclaimed its faith in the many-armed emperor. On a high throne in the Rogue Trader's palace, a scaled saint from the distant stars slumbered in his dreams. He spoke to his progenitor and sensed that he was approaching. Having completed his last journey with his Lord Captain, Albred Wessarian, with the gracious permission of the Rogue Trader, left his post as Seneschal and took over the helm of his large family. House Wessarian rose above its rivals and was never again the target of persecution. Even after their esteemed patriarch died decades later in his bed surrounded by his grieving loved ones. Oh, that's a good ending for Albred. Abelard's shining memory was blighted only by rumors of creeping madness in the twilight of his life. Many said that they had seen the esteemed Seneschal talking to someone unseen, in a voice filled with unusual tenderness and sorrow. After the victory on Epitaph, Argenta left the Rogue Trader in an insatiable flame burned brighter and brighter in her soul, hungry for vengeance, and so the sister embarked on her own personal crusade. At first, she hunted and exterminated the remaining followers of the Final Dawn. Then she pursued those who had abetted them, and then anyone whom she saw a hint of heresy. Even when she directed her wrath against entire cities, no power could stop Argenta. Clad in her sacred armor, she left a trail of fire and blood across the expanse, a trail that ended on Salus Prime. No one knows why the sister returned for a third time to the planet where she had found her relic, but after descending to its surface, she mysteriously vanished. Since then, there have been incessant pilgrimages in search of Salus Prime. Legend has it that the renowned Argenta wanders the ancient ship, awaiting the hero of purest heart to whom she will bestow the one star, and mercilessly slaying those in whom she detects even a sliver of darkness. No one knows whether the legend is true, yet of the thousands who have tried to enter the ancient ship, no one has returned alive. Vizier Cabela of the Bloodspun Web performed a great reading of the Emperor's Tarot, and the card of the Night showed her cult a new path and a new teaching. Cabela raised a generation of proud and fervent warriors, and led the Scarlet and Black Army out of the shadows to descend upon a multitude of worlds, and hound the faithless in the name of the Undying Emperor. Rivers of spilt, unclean blood drenched the soil of worlds where the blood-spun web seeds had sprouted. Planetary rulers outlawed and hunted down the deaf cultists, to the point of starting full-blown wars, but their armies were hopelessly outmatched by a host led by the Vizier's will and her powerful foresight guided by the Emperor's Tarot. Everyone on the ship knew about the liaison between Cabela and her Daemon, but they also knew it would never turn to anything greater. Reluctantly, Cabela drew distant from the Lord Captain, content with her role as her beloved bodyguard, and keeping her feelings confined to her own heart. As painful as the decision was, she saw no other path that the tenets of the Bloodspun Web could lead her down. Mattis Urberus was a loyal and dutiful servant of the Rogue Trader because of the vehement faith in the Undying Emperor. He was permitted to join the Bloodspun Web. A decade and a half later, having risen to the rank of the Web's fourth spinner, he died honorably during an assignment, and his soul passed on to the Undying One. The Vizier composed an hymnatic and profound quatrain in his memory. Henrix von Calix, the former interrogator of Ordo Xenos, took the mantle of Lord Inquisitor after his mentor's death, receiving both the Inquisitor's rosette and the duty of defending the sector from the enemies of humanity. Von Calix became the new warden of the Kronos Expanse. Okay. After laying his hands on the instruments of mass destruction, the Inquisitor announced a crusade against many heresies of the Expanse. With no regard for the lives lost and no mercy for the smallest of offenses, he purged the region with fire and sword, uniting thousands of fanatics under his banner. When Inquisitor Van Calix's time came to an end, he left behind a massive retinue of acolytes. One of them assumed his mentor's mantle when the Inquisitor fell fighting the unknown Xenos in the galactic south of the Expanse. The Lord Inquisitor found a most loyal ally in Cynthia Corda. She gladly became a lethal instrument of retribution in Van Calix's hands, knowing no rest. Although the Bloodspun Web provided the Inquisition with many deadly agents, the contradictions between the Undying Emperor's whispers and the will of the Lord Inquisitor slowly grew as the years went by. Eventually, the death cult splintered apart and the rivers of blood were split. A number of the Undying One's servants renounced their viziers and founded a new cult bound in absolute loyalty to the Inquisition, which they named Shadows of the Throne. Contrary to expectations, Vizier Cabela was not angered by the schism. Instead, she saw the new teachings as another threat of service to the Undying Emperor. Until the end of his days, Lord Inquisitor Van Calix wondered just how much sincerity there was in the hearts of the renegades who had agreed to serve under his command. For a long time, the Expanse was filled with rumors of the brutality with which Navigator Horus Orsilio severed its branches and suppressed its inner strife. When the dust had settled, the young Lady Navigator Isphone II Orsilio assumed the port of Novator and ruled with an iron fist. Many years passed before the Orsilio name once again resounded through the Expanse. When Tisiphone II and her crazed followers started a secret war against another Navigator house, its vicious battles took place in the warp, hidden from any witness in real space. Coming before the Conclave of Cognizant's fleet, Pascal Hahnemann repented of the schism. Casting off his former heresy-stained identifier, he accepted a designation unregistered by the catalog and surrendered his Magos Regalia. His fate remains unknown, but the archives contain reports on the activities of a stern castigator of the Code, falsely identified as a tech priest, Brass Whisperer, who was already deceased by that time. The face of this castigator was hidden behind a mask. His mission was interrogation and elimination. The agent of the Conclave witnessed every sign of tech heresy and exterminated all who endangered the theorems of purity granted by the Forerunners. Following the transition of power to the Adeptus Arbitrus, Solomon rejoined his ranks, where he remained in service for the rest of his life. Implacable and incorruptible, Solomon was thrice offered the position of an Arbitrus Marshal, which he refused every time. Toward the end of his life, Anthar, though still a humble proctor, wielded an authority surpassing that of all his superior officers. This was likely the reason for the final and the only successful attempt on his life. Abelard Rosarian and Solomon Anthar spent most of their infrequent meetings playing Regicide, to which the Seneschal had introduced the proctor. Meticulously recorded by Alberts of June, their games soon found their way into collections of the best ones played in the Expanse, and were later referenced by many a noble regicide aficionado. When First Officer Rosarian passed away before he could finish the last match in a long series of draws, Solomon attended his funeral in full dress and regalia, and placed a regicide piece on his grave. Oh, that's cool. Duty demanded that Magos Hahnemann and Marshal Anthar part ways. During their last meeting, Pascal made a few final modifications to Glado's design, increasing the Cyber Mastiff's service life sevenfold. Whether the gift had an impact on Solomon is uncertain, but on more than one occasion, having his faithful dog at his side would turn out to be his salvation in even the darkest days. After burying his brothers, Ulfar felt the weight of exhaustion and loss on his shoulders. His loyalty to the Allfather was strong, but his heart had suffered much over his decades of battle. Unable to break his vows, he discontinued to sing the song of his pack alone. The last of the baleful howl. Hundreds of legends of myriad worlds are told of the lone wolf. Covering his armor with a great cloak, he would appear and vanish again, leaving only the corpses of the unrighteous behind. Stories were crafted about the mysterious Avenger, and hundreds of young heroes, wolflings, began to follow him. Ulfar did not call on them, he did not remember their names, and did not mourn them. He longed only for an honorable death, but he could not find it. He always survived. Thorvald Ironhide led the Stormbiters for decades more, exterminating evil in the Expanse and adding glorious verses to the saga of his pack. When he fell, his successor Halbrand decided it was time for the wolves to return home, and so he led the pack into the Maw. Whether they were successful in returning to Fenris is unknown. Such was the echo of the deeds of the rogue traitor House von Valencius, deeds that transformed the Chronos Expanse and prepared it for events even darker and more violent. But those are the events of a different story. This one has come to an end. Oh my gods. The end! We've done it! We've finished it! Fantastic! I accept. Damn, that's it, huh? Wow. All right, let's go into some final thoughts. After I eat this piece, I'll do this on YouTube as well too. So all in all, very good RPG. If you want to get into the 40, if you've always been interested in the 40K universe, this will teach you a lot. However, and I will say this with an abundance, that there is a lot going on in this game. Because the 40K universe is so vast anyway, and there's so much stuff to it, the mechanics in this game are pretty big. So I think the one biggest thing, my one biggest complaint, and the reason I went to story mode, was the part that combat in this compared to like something like Baldur's Gate or Pathfinder is a lot different. There's a lot of different types of like abilities and things like that you really have to be like you really have to be into that kind of like style of play if you want to do that. Like a lot of times I would just kind of pick things that I was like, okay, I understand what this does and da da da. But there's a lot of like, you could get really tactical with this game if you really sat down, looked at all the different moves and everything like that. But at one point I literally got to the point that I didn't want to deal with all, like having to do like 20 different things and stuff. My other biggest thing is that some of the things I wish were more passive, or you could hit once and then that just went the entire round, instead of having to do it every time you did a new turn. Like D&D is pretty good on that. You cast a spell, you put a shield around you, whatever the case may be, that lasts whatever, how many turns. A lot of these things were like, okay, I'm going to do this move, or I'm going to do this thing that puts this on me, like puts a shield around me or puts my shield up or whatever. And then the next turn, I would have to do that again. So it's like, well, why couldn't I just do that once and then I could just focus on my attacks and stuff like that? So yeah. So I feel like if you play it through story mode, I think it's fine. You don't really have to worry about it too much. You can worry about a lot of the tech stuff and things like that. Storyline wise, reading wise, there's a lot to it, but it's good. There's a lot of cool stuff to learn about things. It does get a little confusing because, again, the 40K universe is massive and vast. But it was definitely enjoyable. Personally, as much as I do like the 40K universe, I think I would enjoy the Pathfinder games more because it's more around my... As I like sci-fi to a point and everything, I love the horror stuff in it. I think if anything, for me personally, I love the horror stuff. I love the chaos stuff. I love the archenemy and things like that. I think I would have fun with, in this kind of thing, I think I would have more fun with a heretic playthrough or something. Like really encasing that horror style feel in this would be really cool. Or just even, yeah, playing the Dogmatic was cool because it was almost like playing like a very, very, very righteous paladin against a lot of like chaos and demons and things like that. That stuff was very cool. Some of the other stuff was like, okay, I kind of understand, like pirates, things like that. My favorite thing in the whole game was definitely the ship combat. I think the ship combat was fantastic. It was that I felt like was a little more straight to the point when it came to combat. You didn't have like a 20 different like options to choose for when it came to combat and stuff. It was pretty simple. It was like, hey, I move here, I could fire this side, I could fire this side, I could fire this way. I've got some abilities that allow me to either jump further or expand my reach and things like that. I feel like the combat in this is like I said, if you're into this and you like tons of moves and different types of abilities and things like that, it's great. But if you're just looking to like, hey, I just want to swing my sword, or I just want to do this or whatever and stuff like that, that's where I feel like Pathfinder kind of excels at that, or like Baldur's Gate or something, because it's only so much stuff you can do. Where some classes are more technical and have some more moves. Like in this game, every class had more stuff going on with it. So, but ship combat absolutely was my favorite. I would say ship combat and the choice. So my three main things I would say out of this I loved were the ship combat, the demons and everything like that, all the chaos stuff, all the horror elements and stuff, the grim dark horror elements and things, and the choices. I love the fact that you were, when you choose between, when you got to the fact of you could pick Dogmatic, Iconoclast, or Heretic, you could go down that line, and then you would have choices that reflected that. And they really had major choices based on that, which was cool. Like, you could see the impact on stuff. Like, the Dogmatic stuff we chose was like, woof, this is rough, but this is what it is. So, yeah, overall, fun game. Very cool RPG. Would definitely go back and maybe play again. I think I don't know if I would do it on stream. I'd do it off stream so I could just do... There's a lot of reading. That's the other big thing about the game, too. If you're big into reading and stuff like that, that's another big thing. But as a streamer, this becomes a thing because reading it is just... So, that's why I always kind of like... As much as I like these, I feel like these kind of games I think are fun to kind of play on my own and enjoy, because I can just read to myself in my brain and not have to like talk the whole time and destroy my voice and everything. So, but yeah, overall, it was good. I'm glad I finished it. I'm glad it turned out as it did. We had some cool endings, very grim dark stuff. I don't know exactly what would have changed in terms of things. I think I will maybe do another playthrough on my own, like outside of it. But then again, the combat might still kind of throw me off. So, but I thought I'll probably just play in story mode if I do, and that way I don't even have to really worry about that. So, yeah, I don't know. But regardless, it was good. I do recommend it if you are into a vast RPG. You want a lot going on. You want to learn about a lot of things. You want to get into, like, again, you don't have to choose the technical. You can just do the storyline side and enjoy all that. Or if you would like that kind of stuff and you want to go for challenging and learn all the little abilities and everything, yeah, you could definitely do that too. So, but I'm going to stop the recording here on YouTube, and then we still got some time for the stream.